Fight!
SpaceKappa.
I am a huge fan of The Simpsons, and I thought it would be a great idea to start a new little sub-series where I review every Simpsons video game in the order that it was released. I got really excited about this idea and recorded a whole bunch of footage from the Simpsons arcade game, ready to start the series off on the right foot. And then I found out that there was another game that came out before the Simpsons arcade game by a month. So we're gonna have to change plans a little bit and start with Bart vs. the Space Mutants on the NES. Believe me, I'm not any happier about this than you are. Bart vs. the Space Mutants was developed by Imagineering Incorporated and published by Acclaim for the NES in February 1991. You play as Bart and attempt to stop aliens from taking over the world, and to do so, you must stop their nefarious plot of powering their technology with things that are purple. You can do this by spray painting them, washing them, or blowing them up. The absurdity of the premise has been well documented, so I won't retread old ground. Lots of NES games have nonsensical plots, so we'll just give it a pass for now. Stories were never the draw for games back then. It was all about the gameplay. And the gameplay is just as bad as the plot. The entire experience is bogged down by terrible, unintuitive controls. The game requires a lot of precise jumping, and you'll need to gain speed before making some of these trickier jumps. The problem is that accelerate and jump are both mapped to the A button. So first you need to jump, and then keep holding the button to run, then let it go, and then hit it again. Letting go, of course, results in you losing speed, so the jumps are just way harder than they need to be. For example, here's a simple jump you need to make at the start of level 2. This is sped up footage, and look how difficult it is for me to make this one single jump. Eventually, I just gave up. So here's how the controls work, and there's a lot going on, and so you kinda do need all the buttons for all the game's features. It's a waste having B be the spray paint button though. I think things would be a lot better if the spray paint button was moved to down on the D-pad, freeing up the B button to be used for running. Now, I'm no game designer, but if you ask me, I think it solves some of the game's problems. Some, of course, being the operative word here. The game is kind of a mess from floor to ceiling. The hit detection is pretty unforgiving, and since you only get 2 hits, it all results in a huge amount of frustration. Some of the goals are really vague, like knowing that you need to call Mo so he comes outside and you can spray paint his shirt. Also, that's not Mo. One cool thing though is that there are several different prank calls, so there was some effort put in there, I guess. You have to buy certain items too, like bottle rockets, but the game does a really poor job showing you how they work and how to aim them, so you wind up missing and wasting the item, your money, and your time. And did you know that there's actually more than one level in this game? I've played Bart vs. the Space Mutants many times throughout my life, and I've never seen level 2 until I decided to mess around with Game Genie codes while capturing this footage. It's partly because of the difficulty, partly because of me being bad at it, and partly because I just never really cared to get better because the game isn't very fun. And it's a bummer, because an objective-based platformer is a cool idea, it's just that so much of the game just doesn't feel good. They didn't even nail the Simpsons aesthetic either. The aliens don't match the show's art style, the other Simpsons characters don't look right, and while the version of the theme that plays is catchy, it gets way too repetitive, and your jumps actually mute some of the instruments due to the NES's limited sound channels. It's pretty clear that Bart vs. the Space Mutants was a rush job. The TV series was in the middle of season 2 at this point, and the Simpsons were absolutely huge, so clearly getting the game out quickly was the priority, which is a shame, because the game could be a lot better. You guys know I pride myself on being able to find the good in every game, but man, there's just not a lot of good here. So, that's Bart vs. the Space Mutants. I mean, I really didn't want to just regurgitate the same things people like AVGN and everybody else who has reviewed this game has said, but we have to get it out of the way. It's not great, but it's one of those games that I think everybody had in their NES collection for some reason, and everybody has these memories about, so I mean, I guess we're starting with a little bit of nostalgia, and that's good, right? But hey, next episode is going to be a lot better when we finally get to talk about the Simpsons arcade game. So grab your Duff beer, wash that bad taste out of your mouth, and look forward to the next one. So that's all for this episode, so until next time, remember, love games, love yourselves, and love each other. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing and checking out the other 2 video recommendations here. If you'd like to support my channel, a $1 a month pledge on Patreon will get you early access to all my future videos. If you'd like to follow me on social media, I'm on Twitter and Facebook as SpaceKappa.